NASCAR official talking to crew chief Jason Ratcliffe. Larry.
Yeah, the whole key to this rule is if the fuel can is engaged. Now you see right there, it is engaged. So he's fueling the car. Now watch, he's going to lay the wrench on the deck lid. Now, if he'd have laid that wrench on the deck lid before he engaged the fuel can, it would have been no harm, no foul. But because that fuel can was engaged, you cannot do any other function.
The amount of times I've seen drivers in NASCAR get screwed over by NASCAR's own rules and officials is way more than I could even count on the top of my head. There have been so many instances over the years where drivers have gotten screwed out of wins, championships, and even a great race because of NASCAR. In this video, we're going to be looking at all the times NASCAR screwed over their own drivers. Imagine not keeping up with the pace car and you get black flagged as the leader, even though you kind of are. I don't know. Tony Stewart got black flagged in 2004 at Homestead for this exact penalty.
The restart before that had been waved off because Tony Stewart was not keeping up with the pace car. So that's why they put the pace car back out in front. They issued a warning to Tony. And apparently you're supposed to stop weaving your car back and forth when you're in turn 3 on the lap to the restart. Not apparently. That's the instructions they gave out in the driver's meeting.
Right.
And Tony was still weaving his car coming off turn 4 down for the restart, so they black flagged him.
So that's why, because he was still weaving, not because he was too slow.
Right.
Okay.
There we see him back and forth trying to clear those tires of debris.
They told him stop doing that at that time, and there was the restart.
All right, this one will never make sense to me. Carl Edwards tries to avoid an accident by going below the yellow line. The yellow line in NASCAR is essentially out of bounds. If you go below it, you must not gain any positions on the racetrack, period. Well, Carl Edwards actually didn't. He lost positions out of this, and NASCAR still penalized him. Edwards have gotten screwed over in NASCAR so many times.
Everybody slowed up in front of me. See him on the bottom there. Now these guys are all slowing down. All Carl Edwards is doing right there is avoiding a wreck. He did not gain any position.
He lost position.
By doing that, he lost 3 positions. I do not understand that one. I guess he could have just wrecked him and then not got penalized, but I mean, that was just avoiding a crash.
I'm not gonna. It's wrong.
I wouldn't either. That's Carl Edwards on the radio.
Clint Bowyer was parked by NASCAR for having his emotions get the best of him as he wrecked somebody under caution.
Here we go.
All right, we're going back to green flag racing this time. Look out, crash on the front straightaway. Clint gets collected. Oh, the 98 and the 99 of Trevor Bayne.
There's some hard licks right there.
McCumbee and the 09 also involved.
I'm not sure Clint Bowyer didn't spin the tires on that restart.
Either that or could he have missed a gear? 2 cars back on the lead lap.
Yeah, Trent Owens with that 32 car, they've done a great job all day to keep that car in contention and to keep adjusting on it. You see some more damage now on the 21.
Well, we're getting
oh my goodness gracious alive.
Denny Hamlin and I think there's some retaliation going on here because we've just gotten word from NASCAR, the 21 who had pulled back out on.
I want you to take it to the trailer.
And he has been told to take it to the trailer. So Clint Bowyer retaliates against Denny Hamlin. Let's go back and see if we can see what happens here. There's Hamlin. Here comes Bowyer.
Yeah, he's coming out of the pits from where they were working on the car. Makes a hard right here.
Huh.
Show his displeasure with what happened on that last
restart. He saw it
as
intentional.
When the caution came out at the end of the 2024 Daytona 500, it looked like Alex Bowman won. On Fox, they had about 1 replay camera. Regardless, there was actual footage that would show that William Byron was the winner. But unfortunately for Bowman, this could have not even been the case. NASCAR should have thrown the caution before the leaders got to the white flag, and they didn't, and Byron won a very lackluster finish to the Great American Race.
Austin Cindric going for a wild ride here, as did Ross Chastain. You see the light on, you see Bowman ahead of Byron right there, but need to back it up and see this again. And the Daytona 500.
Race winner will be the 24. We'll need the 24 to the start-finish line.
Goes to victory lane, William Byron. From Charlotte, North Carolina, Rudy Fugle, his crew chief.
Yeah, I was pretty sure William had us, but you're going to let him debate it, right? I think a couple hundred more feet, and obviously we had the run, but just so proud of everybody at Hendrick Motorsports. It's 40 years to the day since they ran their first race. So
just like I said earlier in the video, Denny Hamlin gets screwed over by the yellow line. This is going to be a common theme throughout this video. Denny Hamlin gets pushed below the yellow line by Ryan Newman and exceeds his position to take the lead and the win. But NASCAR will strip the win away from him and gave it to Kurt Busch, as Kurt Busch was in second place as Hamlin crossed the line.
Has about 2,000 feet to the finish line to win the Bud Shootout for the first time. Hamlin low, Busch up high. Here they come, 3 wide to the stripe, and the winner is
3 wide.
probably Kurt Busch, because Denny Hamlin went below the yellow line.
Yeah, that was definitely, he advanced his position by being out of bounds. There's no question on that one.
It is legal for Newman to run him down to the line, and Hamlin probably had one of 2 choices: go below the line or wreck Ryan Newman. Who will go to victory lane? That is the question NASCAR officials will decide for us. From the Goodyear blimp, let's have a look at the run to the checkered flag.
I mean, he is all the way below the line. The question is, would they deem that coming to the checkered flag and game on? And I've always thought on the last lap, when you can see the checkered flag, you do what you got to do.
The line is still a line, but Darrell, does Hamlin get the lead before he goes below the yellow line? If so, he may be the race winner.
Yeah, it's hard to say about that.
And McMurray, he never came off the rear bumper of Kurt Busch in that 22 car.
Kurt Busch has won the Budweiser Shootout.
That would have been my call, but I'm you never know.
Denny, tell us about the end of the race and the decisions you had to make.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, that yellow line's there to protect us and the fans and the stand safety, and I just chose to take the safer route. A win in a shootout's not worth sending the 39 through the grandstands. And for me, this fast is what we're running. If I get into his left rear, that car will go airborne. So for me, it's just it was a tough position. I probably should have went high just to avoid that whole thing. But just I was faced with a decision, and obviously I didn't want to have contact with.
When there's a wreck on the final lap of a race, it's always hit or miss if NASCAR threw the caution. I'm not at liberty to say which is the right or wrong answer, but sometimes there does need to be a caution. And at Talladega 2018, you could say that there should have been a caution, and that win was Kurt Busch's. But unfortunately for Busch, NASCAR did not throw the yellow flag, and Busch ran out of fuel.
There was 2 missed calls, though, by NASCAR at the end. Why would we have an extra yellow flag lap? Beyond me. The track was ready to go. And at the end, once we cross the white flag, if there's a wreck and an ambulance needs to be dispatched, I've been on the other side of that where I was racing coming back to win the race, and they said, well, we had to dispatch an ambulance. There was 2 cars dead in the water down there. Chase Elliott's safety is of my concern, and so was the 32 car. And so it's a human call. There's rules that need to be stricter at the end of these races, but man, what a monster Ford. Led a lot of laps. I tried to stay positive. I said, there's going to be restarts at the end. We need to save fuel. I did everything I could in my power on my checklist. Just got to thank Doug Yates for the power to lead all these laps today. It's a very different Talladega for me. And I really enjoyed leading the race, working with my teammates. I'm really happy that Stewart Haas-Car won. The 4 of us, I've never seen so much synergy. And we knew we were going to have to race when we got to Kansas. It would have been nice to have the win. We're here to win. That's what Monster Energy wants. Thanks to those guys. That's what Gene Haas wants. Thanks to Gene, Tony Stewart, everybody. But there was 2 human element calls there at the end. I don't know why we ran an extra lap under yellow and why there wasn't the yellow for a dispatch of an ambulance.